Hey, what's up, everyone? Buongiorno. Bonjour. Hola. Hello. Mm, mm. And I don't remember how to say good night in German or good evening, so I'm just going to say Guten Morgen. Anyway, it was 2009, and my former DC Stadium Arena Tour de Force Power Rock Band and we had parted ways. That was early 2009. Our last live performance was at Club Heaven and Hell in Adams Morgan, that's now no longer there. Club Heaven and Hell was a very cool looking place. I opened up, I did my first live set up for me by a television agent of VH1 Love and Hip Hop and Chicago Black Ink Crew VH1 TV, who is Maurice L. Brooks, also known as Big Mo of the Big Mo radio and TV show. And now his show is called The Big Mo Ratchet Show. And he and I, we just crossed paths on the orange and blue line, on the blue line. I was riding to Capitol South and Eastern Market. He was riding past that. And we ran into each other last month on the 28th of October, 2023, Saturday, and we are going to reconnect again. But that's for another video log. So anyway, 2009. He goes by Danny Metro. He was the keyboardist of a legendary underground punk group of the 80s called No Trend. And they did an entire album in collaboration with the queen of punk rock, with the queen of New York City, New York's punk rock scene of the 70s, of CBGB, OMFUG on Bowery Street, in the Lower East Side / Sohos of New York City, New York, Lydia Lunch. Lydia Lunch got her name from the CBGB house band, the Dead Boys. As a matter of fact, I'm Facebook friends with John Mandusky out of Cleveland, Ohio, aka Johnny Blitz, the co-founding drummer of the Dead Boys. If anyone hasn't seen the, I believe, 2016 biopic movie titled CBGB, which is about Hilly Crystal, the founder and proprietor of CBGB's on Bowery Street, in New York City, New York. I recommend that you watch it. I think it's a great movie. In that movie, it shows that the Dead Boys were in fact the house band. Yes, and it's funny because Richard Goddard, the legendary founder of Sire Records, signed them to a record deal and put out their classic debut album. I believe it's called Young, Snotty, and Loud, the Dead Boys. And the front album cover photo of that album debut on Sire Records, I believe is of the Dead Boys, in the alleyway cut behind the back door entrance into CBGB's, which I have not. I've been. I, I stepped inside of CBGB's in 1999 to 2000 and saw Hilly Crystal, and he saw me. And this was before he died in 2006, 99 to 2000, and saw Hilly Crystal, and he saw me. And this was before he died in 2006. So that did happen. And I asked him if I could simply if I could step onto the very stage inside CBGB's and just stand there, where the mic would be, and just peer out to see what that's like. And he allowed and enabled me to do that. So he was behind the counter, Hilly Crystal, and I walked in. I asked him, I told him I was from DC. I told him that I was looking to start an artistic pioneering revolutionary movement through the arts and sciences. I told him that I was looking to form a band in New York City, New York. And I asked if I could walk on that stage and step to the front center of it and peer out as if though I were performing and looking at an audience in there. And he said, go for it. And I walked. And I walked right up to the side of it, walked up, I believe, up the steps, and stood dead center. And I just peered at the very front entry door of CBGB's with its proprietor and founder behind the bar and no one else there. It was just the two of us, the founder, owner, proprietor, and me, a random stranger that just happened to walk in with no one inside of his place. Can't make this up. Okay. So anyway, back to Danny Demetro of No Trend. They worked with Lydia Lunch, who was given the name Lydia Lunch by the Dead Boys. And she was the underground superstar actress, queen of B-side punk heroin movies. Heroin, not as in the drug, heroin as in female hero. So she was in all of these underground legendary. She was the star actress of all these underground B-side punk rock movies of the 70s out of the New York City, New York punk rock scene. And she's been dubbed the queen of no wave, which is a underground music genre called no wave. She was featured, Lydia Lunch, in the very last final episode of Parts Unknown, Anthony Bourdain's Parts Unknown. His very final episode was called LES, as in Lower East Side. And he spent more time with Lydia Lunch in his final episode than any of the other legends that he had on there. If you recall, she was the one sitting at a dining table with Anthony Bourdain in the restaurant, flirting with him and taking her foot or feet and like rubbing his ankle underneath the dining table and you know, joking with him. That's her with the very guttural, throaty voice that she has. So anyway, to wrap this up, 2009, Danny Demetro of No Trend and I joined forces. I asked him if he would record my original song demo under my production direction in his apartments, in his Efficiency Studio apartment, where he had his own recording studio set up, and he said yes. So he and I worked on my demo from 2009 to 2011. And what can I say? I mean, his recording, his mixing, my production, my direction, my songwriting of these rough tracks that are not full songs yet. But James Brown's former personal drummer of 13 consecutive years, when he first heard these tracks, he went live on camera and testified next to me at the Greenbelt Metro Station on the Green Line and said, when you folks hear this man's music, you are all in for a big awakening. Quote, that is what James Brown's former personal drummer of the Soul Generals from 1993 to 2006, who is my dear friend and brother and co-captain, Mr. Robert Mousy Thompson. That's what he said when he first heard these rough tracks. When you listen to this man's music, you are in for a big awakening. We'll get there. So we'll get there. The album debut project is last on this Nuclear Mushroom Cloud list of Nuke Dog Clearism. But yeah, Danny was my recordist, my sound engineer, recordist, and my mixologist then. All right. I appreciate you, man. Okay. That's this video log. All right. Jorge Estrada, DC. D-Sir, mutatio formulae.